Everybody, we're going to start by making some of our own colored paper, and I have a piece of aqua pigment paper, and I'm going to use several of the chroma mists. I have carrot, ornamental gold, candy apple red, pomegranate, let's see if I can hold them all, dried fig, yellow orange, and lemon zest. So we're going to use some of those to create our own little colored cardstock here on some aqua pigment paper. So I'm just going to take each one, and I'm going to spray it in the corner of my box, and then I'm going to kind of spray it on my paper. And I'm actually going to, okay, you see this, you need to make sure it's nice and shook up. This is the ornamental gold. I always like to kind of show that. Doesn't take too long. I've been using this. This is my favorite. And I'm going to really spritz this everywhere because it's very shimmery and it's going to mix everything else together really well. And then I'm going to grab just a little bit of the pomegranate, which is a darker red. I don't want a ton of it because it overpowers everything. Same thing with the fig, the dried fig. Just want a little bit here and there, just to give it a little dark. And then to brighten it all up, oops, I'm going to use some of the yellow orange. You can see that brightened that up quite a bit. A little bit of the lemon zest, and this is also one that you're going to want to shake up really well. You can see it's starting to come. And then spritz that off to the side. And then to make some very bright, fun colors, candy apple red. See how that's very, very, very vibrant. But to tone that down, you can add, like I said, some more of the yellow on top. That was lemon zest. But my favorite is just taking back and going back with the ornamental gold. And just spraying it again over the top. And then I'm going to go ahead. I really saturated this. Sorry, the light is kind of making it, but I want to kind of shift it so you can see the shimmer. But I'm going to put it off to the side. I'm going to kind of give you a spoiler. Here's one I did earlier. So each time it's going to be a little different, but I've already cut some flowers out of this. But here's one that is dry. All right. I'm going to voice over this part. Here are some of the products that we are going to use. I'm going to use the gingerbread cardstock and the Easel die. I use the big piece to cut my easel part. I just cut my gingerbread cardstock down at 5 inches and then ran it through my die cut machine. And then I folded at the score lines. You fold the top like a top folding card, and then the little tab gets folded upwards. I use the fall foliage paper pad, and I'm going to cut out a piece of, with the vintage doily die. And I'm using these coordinating colors, the gingerbread and harvest, that is shown on the back to help with my project. And I loved this one, and I loved that floral right there and the color, and that inspired me to make this card. It's just a beautiful pack. I also have an A2 card panel of the gingerbread cardstock, which is going to go on top of our easel, and a smaller piece of the harvest, which is cut to 4 and by 5.25. And that is going to lay on top of each other to make our card base. And this is what the harvest cardstock looks like. And then I also have some spiced glitter stock, which was inspired by Sarah's Live on Monday. I love this glitter stock, so that would be fun. And I did grab one piece of the driftwood cardstock or pattern paper, and I'm going to quickly grab the piece that I used that you can see. I cut out some of the blue flowers from the easel set, and then we're also going to use some of the new blue suede embossing powder. So I forgot to mention that I'm going to use the green that you can see. I'm sorry that I'm so close for the camera. The green leaves die, that the image, and the fabulous flowers to cut out a bunch of cardstock. I used cut some from the harvest. I cut some from the gingerbread. I also cut some from driftwood, and then some of the leftover the piece of the floral paper. So we're going to have a bunch of that ready to go. Here it all is, and we are going to put it all together. So let's put our card pieces off to the side. And I mentioned I used that leaf frame from the Easel set, and I cut that out of gingerbread cardstock. Now I cut them down to kind of into smaller pieces so they were easier to work, because we're not going to use them all and we just need bits and pieces. Here I'm going to lay all the pieces out. These are all gingerbread cardstock, and I'm going to various leaves and things, and I'm going to cover them with the embossing ink and then the blue suede embossing powder and heat set them. That way you get a little bit of a different color than on the darker cardstock, and so the gingerbread helps tint it a little bit different. It's really cool how it turns out. But I'm just going to use my plastic mat here to kind of hold all the pieces, and I'm just going to press the ink pad into all of them. Not caring if I get a full-on, super saturated inking. I just want to kind of hit them willy-nilly and get them ready. I also wanted to make sure I grabbed a piece of scratch copy paper to pour my embossing powder ink in. So here you can see I'm just kind of tapping the ink over the die cuts, not worrying about if they're super saturated or completely covered. I'm just going to tap them all over the place, and then I'm going to move these over to the piece of cardstock, that copy paper, and clean up my desk quick with some squeaky clean and put my little plastic mat away. So you will see me do that. And I'm going to cover these with the ink, the embossing powder, and heat set them. I'll heat set them mostly off camera, so let me play some music while I finish showing you how I did this. Well, the music wouldn't take, so here I'll show you. I'll talk a little bit why this is going over. I am making this card as part of the CYOE challenge on the Brutus Monroe Fan Club page. For September, it is to use pattern paper. You must use one Brutus Monroe product. You may enter 2 projects in the challenge using the hashtag CYOE challenge. The winners are randomly drawn. The winner is randomly drawn for a $25 gift certificate to the Brutus Monroe store at the end of the month. You can head over to the Brutus Monroe Fan Club page on Facebook to see the instructions and what you must have to enter the contest. There is a graphic, and I will also include it with a graphic with my photo from this project. So also I wanted to mention, if you haven't checked out the Stencil-palooza going on right now on the Brutus Monroe store, is to head over there and click on the banner. Every day for the month of September, there is a new stencil being released. It's a surprise each month, and it's only while supplies last. So, and what's nice is if you order one stencil, or if you order a bunch of stencils from the Stencil-palooza, the shipping is $3. If you add any other products on, then shipping will be like normal. So you can also order, I don't know if the whole bundle is still available, but if you do order the whole bundle, all of them, they will ship at the end of the month. And then you can just every day check and see what the next stencil or what it looks like. So I do apologize, a little bit off camera here. My camera moved just a little bit and I didn't notice it all the way, but I think the majority of everything is on. Here I'm just going to clean up my desk quick. I'm going to throw some squeaky clean on and dust it off. And here is a close-up of that beautiful blue suede embossing powder now that it's heat set on that gingerbread cardstock. Look at that shimmer. Next, I'm going to take some of our embossing glaze and I'm going to paint it on some of the die cuts. This is a piece of the fabulous florals, or the floral paper leftovers, and I'm just going to dip it in and heat set this in that blue suede embossing powder, and wait till you see the difference. With that embossing glaze, you get a very smooth, lacquery looking finish. You can kind of see it here. It's very smooth and liquidy looking, where if you look at the one where I just used the embossing pad, you can kind of see that it's not as smooth. It's kind of got some texture to it. So it kind of depends on which one you want. I'm going to go ahead and finish that for all the 3 of these little leaves, and then those little like lavender looking pieces. And I'm going to quickly, like I said, paint them with a little bit of the brush from the embossing glaze, dip it in, and then heat set this. And I will be right back to put our card together. All right, let's start putting our card together. So here's our gingerbread base. Like I said, I folded it at the top like you would a top folding card, and then I folded back this little piece. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some, you can see this is well-loved double-sided tape. I think this is like a 1/4 inch. I think you could probably use an 1/8 or an 1/8. You probably could use a 1/4, but this is what I got, so this is what I'm gonna use. We're gonna go ahead and put that down. And I think I'll just use this last little bit right there. We're gonna go ahead and peel that off. I'm gonna burnish it real good. I don't have my bone folder handy, so I'm just gonna burnish it with my finger real good. Peel it off. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open it and fold it back and take my piece of cardstock and line it up with the top and the 2 sides. And then I'll push it down on that piece. And now I have the easel. Now the die does come with some pieces that you can do to do like shapes. You can use shapes from your stash. However, I wanted to just use a plain old rectangle. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab my piece of Harvest cardstock. And I'm going to go ahead and add some glue, tape runner. You can use liquid glue if you prefer. For my big panels, I tend to use a lot of tape runner. I'm going to go ahead and center that on my card. You could do a you could do a pattern on there, you know, and zhuzh it up a little bit, add some more color. I'm just going to keep it plain because I'm trying to go with the colors. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this, but I think I'm going to use some of our foam tape for this. Add a couple pieces of this, our wonderful double-sided tape here. Nice big foam squares. And I'll just stick this on the edge of my tape roll if I had extra. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half. I usually try to save a piece of the packaging or a piece from the release paper so that it doesn't stick, but I don't have any handy right now. I'm still organizing everything. Go ahead and stick that down. Like this piece. You could take this piece and stick it on the back and it would help it not stick. But I think that is going to work for me for right now. Save that piece for a little later. What did I just land on? I just rolled on something. Did you hear that crack? All right, and then we're going to put this piece right smack dab in the center. And because we had that little bit, I wanted to decorate a little bit around it. So like I said, I have all of these fun little dies. We could have done this ahead of time. There have been easier ways to do this. But what I'm going to do is we're just going to kind of snip. I'm going to kind of snip right by the flower or right by the leaf. And then it doesn't matter the other one. We're just going to snip it. And I'll come up here and I'm going to snip right by this leaf. And we're just going to stick some of these vines down underneath. If I need to trim, I can trim. I'm just going to go ahead and trim some, and we're going to add some liquid glue and just kind of stick them down below. And we're just going to just add all sorts of color. And just kind of add them in. Just different spots. I'm not adding glue to everything because I'm okay with it just being you know, poking up the leaves, poking up a little bit. I'm just going to add some leaves here and there. We're going to overlap them and move them around. We're going to add some other leaves and florals. I've got these big, beautiful ones. I think I'm going to grab a different glue, you guys. This one, I think we're going to add, whoa, squeezed way too much out of that one. That's okay. We'll just take it off with our finger and wipe it up. And add a little extra glue here and there. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my tweezers. I'm going to stick this guy down in here. Kind of up and in. I'm going to stick him up and in. We're going to kind of manipulate him around. And I will grab a foam block and kind of set that in there. And I'm okay with that piece of stem sticking out because I'll just cover it up with something. While that is drying, let us add some of our flowers. I've got some made from that chroma glaze I made. I've got some from spiced cider. I'm going to go ahead and add some glue, and I'm going to use quite a bit of glue for the glitter stock because so it sits in there good. And this is some of that gingerbread cardstock. It is oozing out. I'm okay with that because I can use the pokey part to kind of wiggle it around, push it down in there good, and then I can grab my towel and kind of just dab up the extra glue. So I've got a couple of those flowers. I'm going to put that up there a little higher. I grabbed all sorts of different things. So let's see what else we have. We have some Harvest, and I grabbed one of the big, these are from the Fabulous Flowers, and one of the little, and we're just going to offset them a little bit. I hope I have enough centers. I cut quite a few, but that doesn't mean I have enough. We may have way more flowers than we need, but I thought this would be a good way to incorporate some more of those colors. Add a little bit more here. I hope you guys have had a fabulous week. Have you been checking out the Stencil Palooza that's been going on online? That is the stencil every day. There's a new stencil being released every day, and shipping is just what? It's $30 for if you order just the Stencil Palooza stuff. If you order other items, then normal shipping will apply. I may not have done this right. Let's see. It's all right, we might need some more centers. But I'm gonna go ahead and use these on, because we may not need all of these flowers. I feel like we need a little bit of lightness, so we're gonna use these. I think we're gonna put these yellowy ones away. I only have 2 centers left, so we'll use 2 of these bright, more red ones from our Chroma Mist. Oh, I have 3 centers, so we're going to go ahead and add those. Actually, what we'll do is we'll make 2-tone flowers using this. Let's go ahead and add some color. We'll add some glue to the center of each of these. These add just a little bit of lightness to and we're just gonna twist them a little bit. And so they're still the same daisy. And I was thinking, these reminded me, they're not the exact same flower as the pattern paper, but they remind me of that. So I know I was talking about Stencil Palooza. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check that out. There's gonna be 30 stencils total, 1 every day for the month of September. Also, part of tonight's card is part of the CYOE challenge over on the Brutus Monroe Fan Club page. That is to use pattern paper, which I am obviously doing tonight. I have at least 1 sheet of pattern paper anyway. So now we're going to kind of build our flowers. And I do have this one orange kind of flower. So we're just going to kind of add around it. Add some foam tape here and there. I'm only adding glue to the back sides of my flowers because I want the petals to kind of be able to be zhuzhed up a little bit. I think what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of these bigger ones around this kind of flower here. And then we'll add these here. I'll add one here because I'm like, obviously want to use that pattern paper. Oops, I didn't use enough. It kind of stuck right up. I think I might have been off camera. I'm sorry if I was. And we're putting the block down on top of that. I'm going to grab some foam tape. I think I saw a piece over here earlier. I lost it. So this is what I meant by, I just kind of tear off a piece when I'm using a full sheet and I leave this on to the big roll of our foam tape, and then I can just cut and it won't gum up my scissors. So I'm gonna grab a couple pieces of foam tape and pop up this one. I think we'll pop this guy up over here. I'm going to put them right there. It is going to be on the edge of the card. I can always cut it off a little bit. I think we'll put this guy on there too. I'll pop this guy up right here. Yeah, we're going to cover those guys up. There we go. And that did not stay. And I think it's because it's not quite touching there. So we're going to grab some of the more foam tape and kind of pop him up. There's some holes in my pattern paper from the doily. So we're going to go ahead and stick that down. Of course, there's some liquid glue there too now. Stick that down. All right. And then I'm going to add some more blue, I think. Let's add one of these flowers. Kind of add up here. I'm going to add another one of these. I might add it right on top of this flower here. And then we need to add some blue in here. So let's put this down. I'm going to let that dry for a minute. And then we're going to grab some of these. I've got these beautiful blue. So this was the Harvest with the blue suede and the embossing glaze on it. We're just going to kind of, because I didn't do the tips, I'm going to kind of stick the glue here, and we're just going to kind of stick it in here and there. To add some extra blue. You can always go in later and add a little bit of glue where you need to. I think we're going to stick a couple of those right there. Move that one over just a hair. There we go. And then there was one more of these. Add a little bit of glue to both of them. Let's kind of stick this guy in here. I have some of, this is the pattern paper that we did the embossing glaze on, which gives it a little bit different look. I mean, it's thicker because I used the embossing glaze. I'll stick a couple of those. Let's see here. I'm going to turn the card base around a little bit. Let's stick them in right here. I'm going to stick those right here. All right. So I'm going to shake my card up a little bit, make sure, oh, see, those didn't stay. I didn't have enough glue. That's what I thought. So let's get some more glue on there. So I always check. I'm going to add just a little extra glue there. Let's get those stuck in there good. Just going to hold it for a minute. That looks a little bit better. And of course, because, you know, it's a video, I'm going to have to probably hold it and it will be dry after. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that little bit of dot of blue right there. We're going to hold that down for a few minutes. Now, I did say I grabbed some of these. I do think we're going to use them. I cut them out of both the driftwood pattern paper for a little bit of extra blue pop, and this is leftover paper from my doily piece. Then we're going to add those. I have some more blue here, blue leaf here. And then I'm going to grab some crystals. And I think we're going to use some of the flat back crystals. We got the Violet Shift, which has kind of got a purple tint to it, but it's also got some blue to it. And we're just going to add that in for some fun color as well. So I've got one more leaf. I'm going to add a bunch of glue to the back side of my glues. That's why I switched glues. All right. Stick that guy back under here. And then we're going to add these little flowers around, and then we need a sentiment, and we will call it good. I have tons of more blue flower leaves left, but I think we're and flowers, but I think we're going to call it good. I want to add a few of these small little, just a few, put a couple of them right here. I think we're going to add the blue one. It's okay if you see the glue underneath this because we're going to add the gems right in the middle. Stick two of them there. And it's going to take a few minutes for them to dry, especially in this pattern paper. And I think we'll stick one right here. Let them overlap a little bit. I want it to go underneath that flower. Okay. And we're going to let that dry for a minute. And then we need a thing to have it sit up on. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these flowers and we're just going to put it in here. And it will hold it like that. So, but what we're going to do is put just a hair. I should have grabbed another piece of tape, but we're going to put the foam tape on there because it'll be fine. So I'm going to push it up as far as I want it to go. So I'm going to have it, so it's on easel, I'm going to have it go up to here. So when you shut it, you're not going to see. I mean, there's a little bit of a bubble there, but it will ship through the mail just fine. But then when you go to, it will sit up like that. All right, let's add some gems. Add just a few of these blue gems, scatter some in here. I don't have a sentiment yet. We're going to get to that. I'm going to add a little bit extra glue here to the centers just to make sure they stay nice and kind of push down on my wax tip too far, so don't do that. The flat back gems fit perfectly in the center, and these little flowers came from the Easel die set. And they have some grooved lines in the middle. I think we're going to add just a few. I'm not sure, there's a few gems here and there. And then we will add a sentiment. And like I said, I know I have lots of glue there. I've shown you before what I do. Of course, way too much glue. Just dab it with your paper towel or your clean cloth or something like that, and it will wipe away a lot. Keep going. We'll add a couple more here. So I think I started talking to you guys about the CYOE challenge and I got distracted here a little bit. So the CYOE challenge is over in the fan club group, and this month is pattern paper, and you can enter up to 2 projects using at least one Brutus Monroe product. And we have great pattern paper, so that's a perfect thing for us for this challenge. And then you can also have, like I said, 2 projects, and you use the hashtag CYOE challenge, and that will get you entered. It is a random draw, so you I put everyone's names in and I randomly draw, have a random name picker, kind of pick everybody's names out, or the winner's name out, and then you win a $25 gift certificate. Keep grabbing the wrong glue, guys. So I appreciate you guys all hanging with me tonight. I don't have Wi-Fi yet, so that is one of the reasons why I did a pre-recorded video tonight. I am in the chat, so if you have any questions, you can ask me there or leave a comment, and I will gladly get back to you. There is that. And now what we need is a sentiment. So what I did is I went through and I took a circle die from the Easel set, and I chose the Super Sentimental. I always get these two. Yes, Super Sentimental. It's one of my favorite stamps. One of my first stamps and one of my favorite stamps. I'm going to take the You're Awesome, and we're going to grab a piece of Harvest cardstock, which is behind me. Just add a little bit more. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see what else. Yeah, we're going to use the Harvest cardstock. Let's see if I've got a piece of scrap here. I have one scrap here. We're going to go ahead and get our stamp set in here. I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool. And we're going to use some embossing ink quick. And then you have your choice of what you want to use. Like I would probably use a white gel pen to write my message. You could put another piece of the Harvest cardstock inside for your greeting or your message, or you could write your message on the back if you wanted to. So that way, you know, somebody had this out on display, they couldn't see your message. I'm going to go ahead and stick this You're Awesome. We're going to heat emboss it with that same blue suede embossing powder. It's just beautiful. And I love how it looks on these darker cardstocks. So let's get that. We're going to let that dry for just a second. And the reason I mean cool for just a second, because if you wipe it off too soon, when you can see there's a little bit of like shimmer there, and there's a little bit of anti-static powder tool. So we're going to kind of let that sit for a minute. And I can see it's still a little warm to my touch, but it'll be okay. And then I'm just going to lightly run that over. And I'm going to go quick die cut this out, and I will be right. I quickly got my sentiment cut out. I am actually going to, you know, trying to decide if I want it on the top. I think I'm going to put it on the inside. I added a couple more leaves there, and I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of liquid glue. And we're just going to put this in right next to our tab there. And then there we have our card, you guys. I was thinking of adding some splatter. I may do that here. Let me see if I can grab some. I'm thinking maybe we would add some penny splatter. I don't know if I have it handy though, so I can't promise. Let's see if I got it. Yes, I do. I have this penny shimmer splash. Let's add that, a little bit of that to that. I'm gonna quickly take my paper, which we used earlier, on my splat box. And I'm gonna flip this over. I'm gonna take out my piece of very, 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 very wet paper. Put a new piece in, and we're gonna add just a little bit of splatter quickly. So I got my penny. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. And I'm gonna hold this flat with my fingers, and I'm just going to take this and kind of just add a little bit of extra. It's just going to give it a little bit of extra something, something. I like to just kind of click it and hold it. I love the fact that it has the little, I can flick it a little harder and get a little bigger drops. And there we go, guys. There is our card. Cover that up. I'm gonna wipe my fingers off here. Let's get it out of our splat box. And we have our card, which when we open up inside, it sits like this. It says, "You're awesome." Like I said, you could put your message up in here, or you could write your message on the back if you wanted to. But when it sits open on your desk, it would sit like this. I will try to tip it. It's kind of hard to see when you're on camera. So, but it would sit like that. So we have a couple extra flowers that we could put in here, but I'm going to leave them, I think, the way they are. You know, same thing, I could add some more. I could add a little bit more blue leaves, but I am happy with this. So thank you for joining me, you guys, tonight, and I will see you very soon. Don't forget to check out the Stencil Palooza. And I wanted to quickly add the instructions or how to enter this CYOE challenge. You must use at least one Brutus Monroe product, including anything specific to the challenge. You can enter up to 2 projects per month by posting your submissions to the Brutus Monroe fan club group using hashtag CYOE challenge. Projects must be submitted by September 29th to enter to win. Challenges are based on participation, not skill. Please note, each project entered will be featured on the Brutus Monroe in a post on the challenge the following month. I try to get those done at the beginning of the month. I've had a couple of slower times and haven't got them done this last month or so. This month's challenge is for September is pattern paper. Brutus Monroe has some great 6x6 pattern papers, so let's show them off on a project. And the winner is a random name draw, and you will win a $25 gift certificate to the store. So I hope you will join us and participate this month. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week, where I should be back live and have internet in my new craft room. So I will see you then. Have a great rest of your week. Goodbye.